watch a bit of Andrew Tate because a lot of you were demanding, like the filthy little rats you are, nibbling away in the comments. Talk about Andrew Tate. He's taking the internet by storm. And apparently he is taking the internet by storm, so well done to my pet little rats. Continue. Go forth into the sewers of the internet and retrieve what treasures you can. And I do actually mean that. Can you please keep me up to date with what you kids are talking about these days? Because I don't have a goddamn time. Like, all I have to do is, I have to just talk in front of a white wall my entire life. I do not have time. And then sit there and be like, yeah, you'll never guess what Anthony Albanese did this week. Was it some good stuff? Yes, in my view it was, yes. That's all I've got time for these days. It is really not conducive to internet culture. So please keep me abreast, my fine rodenty minions. Yes. So, I did look at this one, Andrew Tate. First thing I noticed, fuck, his eyes are really far apart. It does make a lot of sense why he wears sunglasses. And the other one is, nice tan. And then I started listening to what he was saying. And like the rest of you, I was shocked. Oh my God, it's so outrageous. It's pretty much what, everyone before him has said. There has always been some incarnation of Andrew Tate. And the reason that there is because, and I'm going to get very Freudian very quickly here, he is the current male incarnation of the id. The current one, in its current form, doing with the current trends of today, and it'll change, but the general figure of what that is will always be there and part of the internet. The only problem is that it's been man-shamed these days, whereas in the past this would just be part of mainstream culture because there's such a lack of that. Because, the other day I just watched a movie called Men. It was fucked. It was just that. It was just being like, all men are evil. And also, that Adam and Eve stuff. We're still pissed off about that. The fact that it was the woman that ate the fucking Bible. I was like, get over it, feminists, fuck. But so that has just been completely washed out of mainstream culture entirely. And so it has been relegated to the sewers of the internet, like me. And so what happens is, you have these characters that are completely self-formed and you get to see them in all of their manly glory that are occurring. The female equivalent of this, of course, would be something like, and obviously because I'm out of the loop, but just pretend with me that it's 2004, all right? Kim Kardashian. I think she's still relevant because she's having sex with a 16-year-old now, or whatever that, cretinous freak that she's having sex with is. Who's his name again? You know what I'm talking about. The one that every single chick that I've currently hung out with over the last 3 months has always been on their phone being like, what's so attractive about him? But at the same time, you can tell that they're wondering that because they're wondering why they're attracted to this man that looks like he's going to die of AIDS. What's his name? I can't remember. Anyway, but yes, Kim Kardashian, Keeping Up with the Kardashians when it was on, that was the female embodiment of id, wasn't it? It was the ultimate in the female psyche's mind of what would be an amazing life of, I'm extremely famous for doing fuck all, and all I do is have really expensive lunches with my friends, and sometimes there's some drama to pip it up. Ooh, and I've got a bunch of gay men around me all the time talking about how hot I am, and I'm really hot in my 40s, and even though I've had histoplastic surgery, it doesn't look like it. Yes. Right? That is the embodiment of it. I think this is why when a lot of people try and dismiss this, it's kind of good to just give some other examples of it because everyone has this. This is one part, as Freud would say, part of the human consciousness, which is that those baser instincts, those childlike fulfillments, that fantasy that you had of yourself when you were a 5-year-old, of what the ultimate life would be like, not even 5, maybe a bit older than that, maybe 10 or whatever, that is part of it, and I think that it is actually quite snarkish and dismissive, and I think people are lying to themselves when they say that there isn't something that is attractive about that to them. Girls, am I right? You would love to have Kim Kardashian's lifestyle, admit it. I mean, look, yes, there's also the other element of the fact that your other levels of consciousness would not be fulfilled at all, but that base level of consciousness, it's a Sizzler all-you-can-eat buffet. Every day, wearing $1 million dresses. And you know that it has nothing to do with the fact that the dress is good. I mean, look, she's a nice lady. She looks good and everything, but yeah, it's not worth $1 million, is it? But you just like the status of it. There is an element of you that likes it. Much like, I think with men, there is an element of them that likes the lifestyle of Andrew Tate, of, I don't know, just being like, professional ass kicker, yeah? Won a fuckload of fights, beat the fuck out of anyone that ever talked guff about me. I'm doing Russell Brand's voice now, because now I've already forgotten what his voice is. I eat bacon every day. You've got bacon in front of me right now. Yeah. Yeah, come on, how childish is that? Remember when you were like 6? Just be like, Dad, please make me bacon eggs, please. It's like, he eats like that, has a 6-pack, 20 hot bitches just on this rotation around his life, living in mansions in every country that he wants to go to, being worshipped by all these other Muay Thai fighters, living a life driving around in fast cars. There is an element of you that wants that life, which is why, obviously, just him advertising himself, it is a lot like Donald Trump back in the day when the banks thought, okay, maybe we should bankrupt this guy, and then they thought about it a little more, and no, actually, his image of being successful is what is keeping these businesses afloat. It is powerful. Story is powerful. And the fact that that man exists, that's what's moving Hustlers University along. It really is. It's just the fact that he is so outrageous, so obviously on that, primal level, high status. Yeah? The fact that he says whatever he wants on the internet in this day and age, still crushing it every time he does, making more and more money. There is an element of the male psyche that wants that lifestyle, much like there is one with Kim Kardashian, and that's how she's able to sell all of her makeup, because there's just this little idea in the back of the mind to all the women that you could be like Kim Kardashian if you wear her makeup. Yes, let me pretend. And I think that's what happens with Hustlers University, even though I've never been on it. Now, the other thing that I've got to say as a quick proviso before I move on to the main point of this video is, I'm not going to be another one of these people that sits there and says, oh, Andrew Tate's Hustlers University is a multi-level marketing scam. Yeah, but, okay, Amway is a multi-level marketing scam. It has also made a lot of millionaires, right? I don't necessarily think because something is a multi-level marketing scam that it is entirely bad. I don't know what the products are on there. So I'm not going to just like outright just be like, ha, scam. It's because it's the thing that shits me about self-help. It's the same thing. The idea that somebody's telling you how to improve their life, they wouldn't be giving that away unless they were an absolute scam artist. Everyone in life that's trying to do anything is a scam, except Netflix. Now go back to this fantasy world. La, 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 la. Oh, that was 40 hours of my week. At least I wasn't scammed. Anyway, right, that freaked me out, just doing that little act out into somebody else's life. I don't like going that deeply into the psychology of other people. But I don't know. I can't really comment on it. But I will say that is what is attracting people to, even though it has, come on, an admittedly ridiculous name, Hustlers University. At least call it Hustle University. Make it dumber. But that idea, and also just the very product that he's selling, do nothing, be rich. Everything is attractive about it, which is why I just want to bring this to everybody's attention. The reason that Andrew Tate is blowing up, one, obviously, is because that is part of the multi-level marketing campaign, which is that, it's a genius thing for promotion. He's getting all of these people across the planet to just endlessly promote him talking on podcasts. It's incredible. But the other thing that I would say about him is what is attractive, what keeps people watching him, because the whole point of marketing is, okay, you can put your product in front of everyone on planet Earth, but if your product is worthless, it's not going to get many returns. There is something that is attracting people to the product, and the product is the ultimate id fantasy for men, which means, and this is the part that you're going to have to make a calculated measure on. This is the thing that I think gets a little bit deep. You ready for this? Like the video in advance, by the way, before I even say it. No, I need it. I need the validation. Come on. I actually do need the validation. Please like. Oh, how Jim Bush was that? Please like. But obviously, so it goes up in the rotation. But yes. If that is... If we can just acknowledge that the reason people are watching him, and they can always just dismiss it as, I'm just watching him because he's outrageous and a dumbass. Well, there's a million outrageous dumbasses on the net, including yours truly, right? There are so many people that you could move to. There is something about what that man represents that is holding your attention. Let's just analyze what that is for a second. And I think it is that a part of your mind likes the fantasy of that, meaning that there is a part of your mind that wants that, meaning that there is a part of you that has not filled its potential. Now, I want to talk about why that's a good thing. First off, I think that the level of truly mature human being is somebody who can just go up to the superego more of their life than they are in their id anyway. But there is also just the average thing of there's a lot of fun that is just missed out in life. Like take me, for instance. I do not spend a lot of time in the id. Recently when Sean McAuliffe was paying me out, I think that if it was just dumb if we were just so brainwashed in the ABC world, which is probably what is the reality of the situation. But there was this one line that I hope was the cleverer thing of the line, which was that, just dismissing it outright as like, oh, if it's the thing of like, oh, he made fun of Hack. Why would you ever make fun of Hack unless, what possible reason could you ever criticize the show Hack on Triple J other than you hate sex? Which I think that's what they were thinking about, right? But let's just give them the more charitable response of it, which is that there's like, I've never noticed it before, and I think this was like, oh, fuck, that got me good. There is a puritanical element to me. And I think that the reason that there is a puritanical element to me is because I, personally, am always trying to crush that fast cars, fast women, living that life. I always see that. The way that I've trained myself is to think that is a lie. That is not a way to true fulfillment. And so that has nothing to offer you. Now, obviously, if you talk to Andrew Tate, he would have the exact opposite of that and just be like, that's all well and good, puny man, but you don't have muscles and haven't been laid a lot of times like me, yeah? Right? So it's either or. It's either or. Obviously, the reason that I would be justifying it in my head is that I think that just like suppressing that has given me the point where I've built a platform that gave an alternative voice that helped get a government that is much better, that served an entire country out. So it's just like the superego is a lot more just about like serving others. It's not like that's my entire life. Obviously, I have selfish endeavors like everybody else, but I understand that that's what you should be trying to aim for in life. Having said that, that means that you miss out on a lot of, hey, do you want to drive around in this tank? How about we fire this machine gun? Brrr, yay, paintball, huh? That kind of shit. Which is an element of life, and it is a fun element of it. Now, what I want you to understand is, what are you willing to trade off? Because the whole thing is that life is the ultimate example, assuming that it's real. There's probably going to be a lot of people saying that it's all bullshit and marketing and whatever, even if it is, it's still attracting to you, right? Attractive to you. What is the trade-off there? There is always going to be elements, it doesn't matter what life you pursue, even if you are pursuing it to its fullest, like Andrew Tate has obviously done, assuming, there is always going to be some trade-off. There's always going to be some trade-off somewhere. And the thing is that, understand this, like, how there's just the id, ego, superego. One of those, whichever that you pursue, is going to be to the detriment of the others, assuming that you fully pursue it. Because there is a lot of people that pursue pure id. Yeah? They're not as famous as Andrew Tate. They don't have as much skill as Andrew Tate. I would argue that everything that man has pursued in his life, if it goes into the ego and superego, if it goes into these more developed parts of the mind, is to serve that, which he has clearly done. So, it is the same with you. There is always going to be trade-offs to everything. If you do that, because this is the other thing, when you watch Andrew Tate for a while, again, I'm not shitting on it, because there's like elements of his life that he's absolutely dominated to a level that I will never, ever be able to get to, yeah? But, the little things like, I eat bacon now because I wasn't able to afford bacon when I grew up. There's something in there where you're just like, yeah, I really am seeing like a guy that is kind of like caught in a level of development that isn't his age. Right? I'm not trying to shit on him that much. I'm just saying that that's one of the trade-offs of it. But if we even zoom out further than that, I think that if you are watching any of these people, it is because including myself, it's because that whatever you are pursuing in life, whatever like level of consciousness that is, you are not giving it 100%. If you were, you would be getting those results and greater. This is the main message that I want you to take away. True potential is wasted, even if you pursue it to the fullest, most efficient of extents, and it is the biggest crime of human existence. I think that the less potential that someone fulfills in their life is a massive drain to the world, and you are doing the planet a huge disservice if you do. If you aren't trying to reach your fullest potential, someone like me, for instance, who was always reading that message in self-help, I think that I do it a little bit more, like I'm always saying in this podcast, like this show, if you will. I'm always saying that I'm a lazy, slack human being like everybody else. I have my off days. I think I have a few more on days as a result of just having it drilled in my mind endlessly. And so I think the same should happen to you, which is that you should understand that you are not anywhere close to your full potential. I was talking to a few people in the military, and I'm going to wrap up with this. I was talking to a few people in the military when I was in Townsville, and obviously because they came to my show, there were people that was like, oh yeah, fuck the military, man, didn't teach me shit, just all this is just a kill factory. And I was saying, come on. There must be something in it that you liked. And every time, without fail, I'd say, what do you do now? And they'd say, I run a successful business in X. And I said, well, do you think that you would be running that successful business if you weren't in the military? Every time? Absolutely not. Why? Because the military pushes you, and this is their own words, pushes you to your absolute limit. And the military teaches you that when you think you're at your limit, there's still another 30% left in you. Really, you've fulfilled about 2/3 of your potential at the point where you think, I'm exhausted. And let's be honest, how many times in a day do you, in a week, in a month, in a year, do you get to the point where you think, I am at my tits end? Very rarely. I myself very rarely feel like I fully used a day up. And if I don't think that I filled up a full day, there is no way in hell that I came even close. And it's the same thing. Like, even if I do think that, there was still 30% that I could have done, that I could have been more efficient about, more passionate about, that I could have done, focus on different things to get a better result. All I'm saying is, when you have these days, this is both a haunting and freeing thought. When you have days where you're sitting there saying life's hard, when you're saying that I'm not doing as well as I should be in life, any of that kind of stuff, right? All of these like inner demons that you have, always remember, you at that exact moment are not even feeling 1/100th of the potential of what you could be fulfilling in that moment. And that also does haunt you for the rest of your life because you're always thinking, I should be doing something more than I should be now. I think it's better to have that demon in your mind than the other demon of you're a worthless piece of shit. You get that worthless piece of shit thing when you just start indulging on yourself. You start indulging about how you're better than everyone else, how unfair life is to you. The way you get out of it is to realize I have a lot of potential that I'm wasting in this current moment. And you see it with everyone in the military. It's not like people in the military, obviously. I mean, officers are going to be extremely smart, but there's going to be a lot of jarhead idiots in the military. They're crushing it in life. Why? Because they've learned to tap into more of their potential. Anyway, if you like that, make sure that you sign up to my own multi-marketing level strategy, which does actually have multi-levels. Jordan Shanks, check it out. Honestly, I do think that this is the true Hustlers University. If I would say it to myself, right? Like, I do not have the career that I have now because I studied the thing that I currently talk about on a daily basis in university. It taught me fucking nothing. I'll tell you what taught me everything: self-help. And now I'm going to teach you for an absolute fraction of the price of what fucking Hustlers University, whatever that shit is. Maybe it's good, maybe it's not, I don't know. But I know for a fact that my shit is good. I know for a fact that every time I go anywhere, there's always a bunch of people that want to talk to me after a show that send me all of these letters saying, I was going to kill myself, I was a hopeless drug addict, I never got laid, blah, 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 blah. You name your generic problem that you think is universally yours, but is universal. all the answers behind that paywall. If you don't sign up to it, you're an idiot, right? I do think that. It's just so low. All right. The price, that is. Anyway, sorry, the crappy internet thingy cut out, so I'm just going to try and press the stop button now. Anyway, thanks.